Welcome to the Barebow Project Podcast, developing fundamental skills for barebow archers and bringing the excitement of barebow competitive archery to you through the lens of some of the best archers and coaches in the world.
I wasn't shooting against anybody else. I was just shooting against myself.
For me, as an archer, I shoot to compete with myself because for me, there's no competition but myself.
Today we join hosts Frank Madonna, owner of Grass Hollow Archery and Level 3 NTS coach, along with John Demmer, multinational and world barebow champion, as they speak with the winners of the 136 Outdoor Target Nationals.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are recording the ladies of Barebow, as Chrissy probably said to me at Nationals, I don't even know how many times. We're taking over Barebow.
Hey, that was me and Maggie saying we're taking over here.
I must have heard that I don't know how many times. And but that's all good because in a sense you definitely did and you guys rocked it and it was awesome. And Mr. Demmer, what do you think? What do you think of this group that we got in front of us here?
That's a pretty cool group. Most of them are all like relatively brand new archers within the last couple years. I think Melody is the senior of the group. How long have you been shooting, Melody? 3-4 years?
3-4 years, yeah. Competitively since the end of 2017.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have our top 4 ladies of the 136th Outdoor Target Nationals. We have our young lady, our 4th place finisher, Miss Maggie Brensinger. Hi, Maggie.
Hi.
I just saw Maggie a couple hours ago. She was here practicing. Our bronze medal winner, Melody Richards.
Hi.
Said that correctly, right? Richards with an S?
Richards with the S. Yes, correct.
And we have our 2nd place finisher, Claire, and that your last name is pronounced Z, correct?
Yes, Z with an X. Z without a Z.
Z with, okay, yeah. Who is our 2nd place finisher for Nationals and our 1st place finisher for the U.S. Open. And then we have our national champion and 2nd place winner, Miss Chrissy. How are you?
Great. Happy to be here.
You look happy to be here. Did you go make another pot of coffee just in case this goes for like 3 hours?
I was having fun chatting you guys up. So.
No, it won't go that long. It won't go. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I mean, we do have some new archers, John, and I know I was there as a new archer and a first time as a coach, so I definitely can say that there was a lot of things like first time experiences, but we want to hear about like what your experiences were, and definitely talk about some of the things that you did to prepare to get to nationals and perform the way that all of you did, but especially with you first timers, well, actually just Maggie and Chrissy, I guess, are technically the first timers, but in retrospect, what it was like for your first time, and like if there was anything that just jumped out at you, things that made your life like a little bit helter-skelter as far as the tournament itself, not anything personal. I just mean along the lines of stress that you do or things you didn't expect that other archers should anticipate. But and it just the overall experience. I mean, I want you guys to talk about anything and everything that makes that you think other girls should know, other women who aspire to be, where you guys are. And that's pretty much it. This is a kind of like this is the ladies BS session is what it is. I just want to know, start with, how did you guys prepare for nationals? What was your mindset? Is there anything special that you did? And go along those lines with your conversation, okay? So Mag, why don't you start and talk about your experience real quick.
So pretty much preparing for nationals, I put myself on a regimen of where 2 weeks before
The second week, I shoot lots and lots of arrows, volume, multiple 72 arrow ends, and just try to build up stamina and endurance. And then the week before, just lots of drills, lots of blind bail, lots of draw holds, just to really set in stone my form and all of the progress that I've made. Typically it's very emotionally up and down for me. It's probably just because I'm a teenager, but it's just like I get excited and then I try to like calm myself down, and then it just doesn't work. But I like being excited about it. Get yourself excited about it. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
No, that's good. How about you, Melody?
Well, hold on
go
a
ahead,
second.
John. Go ahead, John.
All those like draw holds and volume shooting, do you think that held up pretty good for the tournament? Like you felt really strong throughout?
Pretty much, yeah. There were a couple ends where I didn't feel so strong, but that was on me. So
Yeah. So for the most part, it worked out pretty good. You shot pretty much to the full strength potential through the whole tournament, minus a couple ends.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's something that a lot of people lack when you hear a lot of times they only shoot 20 good arrows, or I go out and I only shoot 15 good arrows, 15 perfect arrows. But for a tournament like this, I don't think that works out that well, because you also do need to have full strength and be strong through the 72 arrow round, because a tournament of 72 arrows when you're shooting 6 arrow ends can definitely weigh on you and can definitely weaken you out when you're trying to remain focused and make good shots.
Well, yeah, I try. I try to maintain.
You did a good job.
Great job.
Thank you.
She did do a great job. She's a really good athlete. She's a really good competitor, and her sportsmanship is awesome on the field. And that's one of the things that I loved about going head to head with Maggie, is that for me, as an archer, I shoot to compete with myself, because for me, there's no competition but myself, because everybody's regimen is completely different and everybody's lifestyles are completely different. So you can't go to a tournament and be like, oh, I've been shooting every day. For everybody's life is different, right? So what's important for me is that I show up with a mentality that I've trained my mind to be emotionally aware and in control of my emotions at all time, because there's so many things, especially in my archery career. If you know me, there's always something going on with my bow. There's always something, I'm changing arrows. It's just, I guess I'm the magician when it comes to being on the line. The most important thing for me is that stuff is always going to happen. We shoot here in Arizona, 110 degrees, 115 degrees. I get up in the morning, 6 a.m. I'm shooting for 4 hours in the heat. The conditions are completely different. But what is always the same is my mentality, the strength of my mind. Because as Barebow archers, everybody says we're the happy people, we're having a good time. And it's true, we are having a good time. But the minute I pick up my bow, I know that it's game time. And my mental game needs to be on point every single time. I can be cordial, I can be fun, I can be gracious, I can hold the line however I need to hold the line. But the minute I pick up that bow, I got to do what I've trained to do. And that's the attitude that I come with every day, every time. Sometimes I might miss the bail, sometimes I might hit the 2, but I'm coming back. And that's always my mentality. I'm going to come back. And I always do. And that's just my mentality. I love the archers. I love the vibe. I love the energy. I love what I bring to the line. But at the end of the day, yes, we all want to win. We all want to compete. But the question that I always have to ask myself is, what did you learn, Mel? Okay. Yeah. You went to Richmond and it poured down in with rain. You shivered until you couldn't shiver anymore. You were freezing cold. Your tab was flying off because your fingers were shrinking. What did you learn? I learned that I am strong. I am stronger than the rain. My mentality and my thought process and my shot process is stronger than the rain. I love to shoot in the rain. I can prevail no matter what the weather, no matter what the season, and no matter where I am. Jet lag, no jet lag. I'm showing up to do what I'm good at, what I love to do, and to hang out with my peers and to cheer each other on. And that's where I start and that's where I finish. And that's just me.
That's good. You did have some adversity too, so it's not like completely out of your control. You had one of your limbs twist on you.
Completely.
You can't anticipate that stuff happening. And shout out to Calvin Smock. I think we should give him a shout out because he was hanging out.
Calvin Smock is like the knight in shining armor. You changing out my stuff.
Yep.
I'm so grateful. I'm forever grateful.
But Barebow stepped up. That was a Barebow thing. I mean, we all would have helped each other no matter what the circumstance. Oh, well, I might not have helped John, but I would help you guys.
Thank you. Good to know.
Usually
the other thing,
helping
Frank,
me, I shouldn't say anything.
That's too funny. I think the other thing that you didn't know is that on Saturday when we were in elimination round, it was raining so drastically. I actually was pretty much shooting blind because I couldn't wear my glasses. Yeah. So I couldn't see the bail. And all the while, I look at Maggie, I'm like, Maggie, what was that? Where did that go? Because I literally could not see because I couldn't shoot with my glasses because my glasses were fogging up so much. Halfway in through eliminations, I was like, well, what am I going to do? And then I just decided I got to take these glasses off because they're giving me more trouble than anything. I'm gonna feel my way to the bail, and that's what I did.
Yeah,
literally,
awesome.
I felt my way to the bail.
Awesome.
I mean, you rocked it.
Thank you.
So real quick, is there anything that you did specifically before the tournament, Melody, to prepare?
Specifically, I trained my mind. I went to the range. I figured out what I needed to do to stay strong. I mean, like I said, everybody's so different. But for me, it's just showing up to, nothing is different. The way you see me at a tournament is the way you see me in practice. It's the same mentality. It's just getting stronger at it and stronger at it. So I don't have anything more special or more different. My attitude, my composure, because I train to win. Everything that you do in training, and then it just shows up at the tournament.
Sure.
Obviously I can't control the rain, but I can control my mind within the rain. I can't control my bow, but I can have so many people come together to help me get back on top. I could have had a meltdown. I could have said, this is over for me. I was just like, okay, new limbs, figure it out. I'm going to aim where I need to aim and I'll adjust. That's what Barebow is about, adjusting, just like life. You just got to keep adjusting. Something's always going to be thrown in your way. You just got to adjust and keep aiming.
There's a lot of people in your situation, especially kids, who would have tanked. And John, you weren't around for that. But basically, I don't remember what point in the day it was, but your limb twisted really bad. We swapped out a set of limbs for her. I think
Friday.
Yeah, was it Friday?
Yeah, Friday at the
swapped out a set of
round
limbs,
4.
Got the brace height back to where it needed to be, and then and there was some immediate improvements after that. But a lot of shooters, especially inexperienced shooters, like mentally they'll just crash and burn after something that significant. You actually did the opposite. So I mean, shout out to you for that, and everything that you got that weekend was hard earned. There's no question. So
yes, one thing that my coach always tells me is, or he always asks me, is what did you learn? And then I have to stop and I have to think, well, what did I learn? I learned that I'm stronger than my limbs twisting, and I can ask for help. And there's people out there that want to help, because we're all here for the same thing. We all want to have a good time. We all want to be better than we were the day before. And that, for me, is why I absolutely love Barebow, and Barebow will always be like my husband.
Nice.
that number one. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
Sounds like your coach put you on a good track. Just
I'm so grateful.
In life in general, not alone just archery, but it's a good mental approach.
100%.
Shout out to your coach. Who's your coach?
Mel Nichols.
We all know that name.
I see that.
Part of that
I see
crew.
that. I see that.
That's outstanding.
And John, I want to tell you thank you too, because you inspire all of us with your grace and your gratitude and just your willingness, no matter what. You've always been such an amazing mentor for me. And I want to tell you thank you, because it's not very many archers or people like you. And I just want to say thank you. We need more people like you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I gotta back that up with a big second, because you're 100% right, for sure. He's definitely the reason that we have seen the gains in Barebow over the last 2-3 years. And before we jump into your story, I'm gonna quick say that I had a meeting with Guy Kruger from the Olympic Training Center today, and we were on Zoom and we were chatting. I didn't realize this, but like 3 to 4 years ago, and John, you may have known this, Guy told me that Barebow was sort of on the chopping block as far as like nationals because the turnout wasn't good.
I knew this.
You knew this. So,
yes.
I don't know how many people understand that, John. And that's why I'm bringing it up just in lieu of this conversation, because we have done a huge, huge turnaround in the last 2 years, 3 years. And John, you've spearheaded that movement, but it's not just that. It's people who are finding Barebow. And Chrissy, I'm gonna also highlight you here for a second, because you've taken on the growth of females in the sport. It's not just Barebow. You're trying to harness people like Maggie and some of the other young females that are up and coming and almost empower them. So that's what we need to continue to happen. And you look at the numbers of the Classic, you look at the numbers of indoor nationals. I mean, we were this close to really not having any of that stuff, and that has all turned around. And now you guys are doing the same for the women in the sport. So, I mean, that's a testament to all the work and the precedents that John set and the leadership that he's put out there. I'm not trying to, trust me, man, I love digging into you whenever I can, but this is a situation where you deserve the props, dude. I'm just telling you, as a friend, you deserve the props. You've done more for the sport, and these ladies probably wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you. So
No, I do Barebow because of John. He did a video and that put me on Barebow. So I've told him this before, that I'm very grateful, because I saw his video and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to do Barebow. It looks fun. It looks like my kind of people.
same.
Like 100% is the reason why I'm doing Barebow, is that man right there. So yeah.
All right. So
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry we
Changing my life.
derailed the entire podcast, but I just think it was the right moment and as well deserved. So, all right, Claire.
So, as you may know, I didn't have enough practice for the national this year because I was so busy. I've been working like crazy. I have classes to go. I had probably 3-4 outdoor practice for the whole year, and that's about it. So I didn't have any expectations. I just want to have some fun. But last year was my first year, so it was quite some experiences. So the first day I think I shot okay. And then they interviewed me and they asked me, so what's your expectation? And I said, I think I did pretty well today. I think I want to get the first place. And the second day, the pressure's on. And I was like, okay, I already said it. I have to get first place. And I made the mistakes I've never made. It was horrible. So, yeah.
So day 2 was horrible is what you're saying.
Yeah, day 2 was horrible. So I would say my suggestion would be don't have any expectations, just trying to have some fun and don't focus on your score, focus on your shooting process. Yeah. I think this mindset helped me this year for the final.
Oh, for the open, you mean?
Yeah, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, focus on execution, not expectation, is what I think
Right, exactly.
say most often. Yep, execution, not expectation. That's a good lesson. It's a real good lesson. I may or may not have heard that from Mr. Demmer once or twice in my when I talk about. Go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say that approach, that mental approach that Claire had, is probably what allowed her to do as good as she did for the amount of practice and the amount of preparation. But it's always good. And then if you pair that with Melody's outlook of just shoot within yourself. Try to compete with yourself, and be positive of that you're stronger than your preparation. You're stronger than anything else, and that'll help you pull through. That's a good pairing between the two.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Chrissy, what did you do?
Practiced a lot.
What did you do?
Practiced a lot.
Messed around and got the dub. You won outdoor nationals. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
So,
But I also truly admired what Claire was doing over there at the Open. So I did go into the Open like with no expectation. I went into all of it with no expectation, to be honest with you. It was my first 50 meter ever. So I knew what I could do in practice, and I knew what was going to stop me was if I let it get in my head. Cameras got into my head, so ignore it. You can tell cameras to back off, by the way, if they get too close. Just for all y'all that don't know, I found that was my biggest lesson. Tell them to back off when they get in your face. I love you, cameras. Loved you guys. You were amazing. Just not when I'm shooting. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot through the whole process. I got limbs. I knew I wanted to go for a point on after indoor. So me and my coach talked. We upped my poundage. We changed my riser because my riser is a little borderline for the limbs I have on it right now. My indoor riser is a lower end riser and cuts off at 36. I'm shooting 35 on the fingers right now with 38-pound limbs. So I didn't know if I wanted to cut it that close. We switched basically everything out. And that was a big jump for me. So I started off with like a lot of draw holds, for the first couple of weeks. I did put up a video when I started. I should probably follow that up. But of where I was, where I knew I wanted to be, I embraced the term, embracing the suck, because it was very, very sucky at first, what I was trying to do. But I knew I was trying to catch up with people who had been shooting for, had years of experience on me. So I was trying to see how far I could push myself, in those couple of months. But it also I was changing things in my shot. I still have work to do in my form. I know that. I'm okay with that. So, but I was trying to work on a couple of those things along with hitting my, seeing where I could go with 50 meter. I knew what I was doing in practice. I didn't know how it was going to come out in a comp. So I really just went there going, no matter what I shoot, it's going to be my personal best. And I'm just going to have fun. I kind of adopted Maggie as my little Barebow sister and said, we are going to, run with this. We were wanting to do teams together, but then they canceled teams. I said, you know what? I don't care if we're not having teams officially. We're going to go in this as a team and we're going to have each other's back. And I kind of, she propped me up. I propped her up. It wasn't a one-way thing. Maggie was propping me up too. She has a lot more experience in eliminations than I do. And I've never done a head-to-head. That was my first head-to-head. So actually my hardest match of the whole thing was facing Maggie. When they told us we were going to have to shoot at each other, we kind of looked at each other like, oh, well, okay. We're going to have to do this at some point. And I won't lie, when I thought I had completely knocked her out, I cried because I love Maggie so much. I was like, if you have any doubt how much I love you, girl, I'm bawling in the rain. I'm like, use your umbrella to hide me because I'm bawling in the rain because I didn't want to knock her out. But then when they said she was going on for the bronze medal match, I was so happy, that she was going on. So that was actually my hardest match. Claire is just like my hero. So when I first started doing archery, I was watching videos and people like Claire and Fawn. I was like, if they can do this, I can do it too. So. It was a really huge honor to me to shoot with her. No matter what place I got, I was just happy to shoot with her. So, and all these women are phenomenal. So I like knowing that I'm part of Women's Barebow. I really want to see Women's Barebow grow more. So yeah, I do kind of go out of my way to cheerlead the girls. Not that I don't love you guys, because I do. But I really want to see more girls get into the sport because I think it's an amazing sport. And I think it's a lot of fun. So I just had a blast doing it.
You did awesome. It was fun to watch. I think the first time we met was at the Classic, and we got to shoot with you during practice some, and you were kind of amped up, and you know, or I think you were dealing with a broken ankle at the time.
My leg. I had broken my leg a couple months before and had a surgery in it. And then also the process of 50 meter, I also had another surgery. So I had a surgery back in, what was that? I can't even remember anymore. It was the end of June, beginning of July. I had another surgery to remove the screws because my leg is mostly healed. So I was dealing with all that too through the training.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not like your preparation wasn't just doing a whole bunch of draw holds and shooting a lot. I mean, you had other things going on in life that, in retrospect, you look at it like, you know, things could always be worse. You know.
Your leg could be broken.
Yeah, I mean,
at least I could walk at that point. I mean, I was hobbling at the beginning. I still was dealing with rehab, like strengthening my leg. I was looking at my doctor going, look, outdoors coming. I have to get stronger with my walking. Like, you know, if I walked a big long shoot with Fawn, a 3D, and by the end I could barely walk. So I was like, I have to like rehab my leg up to do outdoor, you know, and I didn't know if I was doing field or what at that point, but I knew that I really wanted to get my leg, and it's there now. So I'm very happy. So.
All right. Pretty cool. That's awesome, Chrissy. It's awesome to see your transformation from January till now. It's a huge.
I'm getting some great muscles.
Yeah, you're getting stronger, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
so
point on at 50 meters.
45-year-old lady. I'm pretty proud.
You said before that your goal was to get point on at 50 meters, and why don't you elaborate on that? Because we've talked about this in the past. Why was that so important to you going into nationals?
For consistency reasons, and also because it would allow me to, which I didn't do during the open, but it would allow me to adjust a little bit easier if due to weather conditions, and also it's a lot more consistent with your heights, with your left and your rights. If you have a point on instead of gap shooting, and I can gap shoot when I need to, but I like having the point on.
I think the beauty of like Barebow is that you have to figure out what works for you and then just stay in it. You know, it's like so interesting to see like everybody's style is so different and so unique. And you listen to everybody's story and you're just like, wow, like for instance, Claire, she barely shot, but her mental game was so strong and she did what she needed to do. And she came and she did, you know, and it's just interesting because everybody's perspective is so different and your scores will tell. You know, I mean, I've been to numerous nationals and, you know, it's so beautiful that you see people and you watch them grow and you see year after year, like how they're getting better, where their hardships are, how they're learning. And it's just beautiful to see people as a whole, you know, going through life with archery. And I love that. I mean, we all have adversity. We all have so much going on in our lives. There's something always going on. But archery really brings us together and gives us a moment to just be like, we can leave work, sickness, all of that behind. And we could just come together as a team and just like push each other on in this crazy sport called archery, standing in the rain for 4 hours shooting. I mean, my rain boots were filling with water. I was like, oh my goodness, this is the craziest thing like ever. But seriously, I love it. Where else would I want to be? Like,
it was bad.
I don't want to be at the beach.
Bad.
I'm so happy right here, you know? And so that's the beauty. And there's been so many pioneers like John, like Fawn, like there's amazing shooters. And the beauty of it is that you can ask questions. You can go up to them. You could say, hey, what are you doing? And that's why Barebow is so awesome. That's why everybody wants to be a part of the club, you know? And I'm just grateful that it was my first love and will always be my love. But I've learned a lot about myself in this. And I'm grateful that I've continued the journey. I haven't given up. You know, like I said, we've all had adversity. Something's always going on in somebody's life. But we can show up. And that's the most important thing, is that you show up to the line, no matter what.
Yeah. I love it because archery is my getaway from everything, from work, from study, from kids, all the craziness.
Totally.
Yeah. You work some crazy hours too, don't you, Claire?
Yeah, I work 24 hours.
Yeah. So you're, as a paramedic, you work 24-hour shifts. Are you 24 on, 24 off, or?
Yeah, 24 on, 24 off. Yeah. Like that.
Yep. So I mean, as a fireman, I get for I don't know how long I get the struggle, but you do it full time, it's, so I could see how archery, you were probably just thankful to be there and not be at work.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
A bad day of archery is better than a good day at work. So
that's true.
yeah. So how did you guys, have you shot in the rain before? Because if for those who weren't at nationals, they don't know how would you describe the weather at nationals? Like,
It was either really hot, and that third day was, I don't ever want to shoot in that again. I'm just going to be honest. We were cold. It was wet. It was pouring. The only thing missing from that was lightning and thunder, and of course they would have canceled it. I can't imagine it raining harder than it was at some points. It was pretty awful.
Yeah.
I was miserable. I think all of us were pretty miserable. We were like hiding under the tents going, please stop.
Yeah, I was freezing, and it's my first time shooting in the rain. So the first thing when I got back home, I bought a pair of nice rain boots. That's my reward for the trip.
Well, I think when I realized that me and Claire were going to go, that was like staying about an hour away. And I was like, can I make it back to where I'm going? Because I just was so soaked through. I had to get the clothes off, get them in the dryer, sit there with a blow dryer on my tab because my tab was literally slimy from so much rain. And I was putting it in my pocket and it didn't matter. So I'm trying to like blow dry my tab, and it was not fun.
Every time I had to get from underneath the covers that they had for us, I just kept saying to myself, I'm in Hawaii. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. I love the beach. The beach is amazing. Wow. I kept saying that over and over. And like, I was literally shaking. I was so cold. But I just didn't let the shakes and all of that get to me. And it got windy. It was windy, and the weather was all over the place. And I just kept saying to myself, I'm in Hawaii. Oh my gosh, it's a calm day. Look at the beach. This is awesome. I'm so hot right now. And my boyfriend was like, you are in Hawaii. And then was like, so I had like a whole group of people in the back. You are in Hawaii. I was like, I am in Hawaii. And it was just my mental game plan to get me distracted from really what was going on and stay in my mental game to shoot and do what I need to do. Because my, once you're in, at least for me. I was literally shooting with my rain boots filled with water. And I just kept saying, this is fine. I love shooting in the rain. I'm an awesome shooter in the rain. This is me right now. My arrows love to, they just slide down in. They're in the gold. I got this. That was it. That was my mantra over and over again. And so you just never know. We shot in Seattle for field, and it poured with rain, and we schlepped through it. I've shot in like many different tournaments, and you just got to go do your job. Just get it done.
Well, you said something that I do too. So I can be joking around with somebody, when we're not shooting, but the instant I get on the line, my brain like just clicks over. Now it's game time, let's shoot. So I very much can be on totally like laughing, joking, whatever. But the instant I get on that line, I'm all archer, and I'm very focused on what I'm doing. I don't care what I was saying 5 seconds before. I'm now here. And so like, that's, I think, a really important thing when you go to do archery. Have fun, but be ready to, when you get on that line, you leave it all behind. It doesn't matter what was going on the arrow before, the conversation 5 minutes before, whatever. You're on that line. It's just you and the target. I wasn't shooting against anybody else. I was just shooting against myself. I like to think I'm shooting with all of you guys. You're all, I'm pretty friendly with all of you now. I like to think that I'm shooting with people. I'm really just shooting against myself. Because when you start thinking that you're shooting against people, it gets in your head. And that's not a place I want to go. I love these girls. So I'm shooting with them against myself, and that's all I focus on. I'm just trying to do what I do in practice, because the rest of it really doesn't matter.
For me, a good day in archery is when I can go to a national event and shoot with somebody that is shooting for the first time on the same line as me. My sense of, I feel good, this was a great archery day, is when we can both walk off the line, and the person that I'm shooting with, even if they were in my division or not, can say to me, thank you so much for making it a good archery day for me and supporting me and helping me along the way. That for me is a great archery day. You know, my shooting and my scores will be my scores, but if I can be an amazing athlete and a great sportsman and have good sportsmanship and like be lifting people up within the sport, that for me is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, the scores will come. At the end of the day, I'll get what is deserved and what I've worked very, very hard for. But my most prized possession within being an athlete and an archer is to have that feeling where I can high five a kid and they can feel good about themselves, even though they were flailing all over and distracting me when I'm in full draw, and they can high five me and say, I shot it too. And I can say, you were an awesome too. That to me is important.
Good. Man, you guys are all like singing Kumbaya and stuff. I think it's great.
I know they're super positive. Where's like the cutthroat mentality?
Well, I'm coming for you, John. I warned you. I'm coming
Oh,
to
there
St.
it is.
Salinger. The girls are coming.
The whole time they're talking about shooting in the rain, I'm just thinking about how we were watching disc golf on TV, looking at the weather, looking at the weather and watching all.
In the rain for you. You're welcome.
We did too. We sat there watching the whole time. And you were talking about lightning. We had lightning on the first day of practice. We walked out in the field, boom, lightning. Oh, everybody off the field.
Like 1 or 2 ends of practice, and they called it off for the guys.
I got one end. And
I'm sorry, I got you there in time.
John was fishing. He wasn't even worried about practice. And
John shoots with his eyes closed. I want to get to that point in my career where I'm just like, boom, eyes closed, X, X, X. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that an X or a 10?
Well, you know, I'm glad you guys brought up about the rain and stuff, though, because there's a lot of people who haven't had the opportunity to shoot it. Claire, you said you never shot in the rain before, right?
No.
Yeah, so it's definitely an adjustment. Plus, we had wind, and the wind wasn't consistent. It was right to left. It was in your face. There's occasional, you see it would swirl and actually blow back left to right for like a second or two. I mean, that stuff can also tank a shooter, or can completely just derail your game from the moment, let alone shooting in rain. Your feet are soaked, your tab is wet, your string is wet. I'm trying to think. I mean, your string, if you don't pluck your string off, I think in one of our previous episodes, John and Grayson talked about this. Grayson shot a really, really good score last year at might have when he broke the national record, but wasn't that in the rain, John?
Yeah, his first one he shot in the rain. They actually canceled it because I think lightning came and they didn't shoot the last 3 ends.
Yeah,
but when it started to rain, he just shot and didn't. That was a learning day for him. He shot one end in the rain, didn't even know. Got down there, it was like a 9.5 size grouping in like the 4 ring.
Yeah, I had no idea.
So he learned real quick how he has to aim different.
I mean, so now all of you going through that experience, regardless of you being the top 4 in both the Open and Nationals, all of you are wiser, more mature, and more experienced shooters. That's going to pay its dividends down the road, whatever tournament you go to that's outdoor, or maybe an indoor as well, because the mental fortitude that comes from that, the ability to just shoot through all that stuff. I mean, but just the way you guys coped with each individual thing, and like Chris, your comment about going up to the line and turning the switch on. Whatever happened in the past, whatever happened on the last end, good or bad, you turn the switch on, it's game time, here we go. And in some ways, pretty much all of you took that approach, and it shows because look where you finished. Obviously all of you have the talent. There's no question. It's a matter of where you're at and how prepared you are to take and run with it. And you ladies, I almost said you guys, you ladies all did that, and you did awesome. John, anything else you want to quiz the ladies about, and anything that they
maybe just run down through the rough specs of their bows, so people can get an idea of what they were shooting, how many pounds, how heavy was the arrow, what spine arrow, just to get other ladies an idea of what they were using.
There's
I
like,
probably
I don't
need
want
to
to do
ask
this. I
Joe.
don't want to do it either.
That's fine. How
I'm
about
shooting
Chrissy,
a
go ahead.
forge riser with 38-pound hookah limbs because I have a short draw, so it's 35 pounds on the fingers. I'm shooting Carbon Express arrows. They're 730 spines. I think they're 110 grains points, and a Yoast tab. So anything else? Shibuya plunger and a ZT rest.
Okay, Claire?
So I'm shooting Hoyt Exceed riser with Velos limbs. I'm shooting 36 pounds medium limbs, and it's about 35, 36 at my fingers. I'm using Carbon Express Nano arrows, 900 spine and 90 grain tips. The arrows are pretty heavy, so I think it helped me in the wind, shooting in the wind. I'm using Spigarelli, is it RZ or no? Or Spigarelli rest and what's the
Probably ZT.
Oh, ZT, yes, and plunger.
One of those.
One of those.
Yes.
One that clicks.
I think probably a biter.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it's a biter plunger. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't ask Joe.
I could have just answered all that for you.
Melody, how about you?
I'm shooting a gray riser, 1-in-1 limbs that are 38s, but I shoot 40 I hold 40 on my fingers. I have a Black Mamba tab, Carbon Express Nano arrows, 600 spine, 110 tips, and my plunger. I'm not 100% sure. Let's look. So my equipment, as you all know, my equipment. And so I forget, I think I have a Spigarelli and then I have a biter, I think, pretty sure. And I have a custom string. And yep, that's pretty much my setup for now.
Oh, I forgot to say I use Yoast tab. It's the best tab in the world.
I haven't shot a Yoast yet. I'm in my Black Mamba and I feel like I need to maybe shoot a Yoast, try a Yoast. Is that what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
I need a Yoast. I need a
Gotta try
Yoast.
Yoast. Gotta try
Yoast tab. So yeah, that's my equipment. That's my setup currently.
Good stuff. Awesome. Maggie?
I shoot Yucca limbs about 30 pounds with a WNS Motive FX riser, and I have a Spigarelli ZT rest and a biter plunger, and a Yoast weight and a Yoast tab, and I shoot Victory vents with XS wings, and they're 900 spine. I don't know about the tips, so yeah.
I believe your tips were like 90 or 100 grain, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I don't remember. They fly really good. Better than my arrows
That's
were.
a lot of stuff to remember. I'm proud of myself. I remembered most of it.
You all rattled it off pretty quick, so that's
We're
good.
practicing.
You've been practicing. You're like, what are they going to ask us? What if we remember?
I keep looking at Jeff. What am I
So many
shooting
different
again?
things you need to know
In
for
case they ask
archery.
me. Right.
So,
in case somebody
were
asks
you?
me.
Here's a question: Are you more nervous for the podcast, or are you more to record the podcast, or nervous for nationals?
Oh, cameras. Yeah, no. I actually went to watch the open video again. Wasn't anywhere near that nervous when I was actually shooting, but listening to the commentary, like when I lost the knock on my arrow at one point.
Yes.
Frank was there, and I looked at him like, you've got to be kidding me. So I'm trying to like whip off my arrow, get the knock off the string, replace the arrow, and he starts counting, and I'm all calm. But when I went to watch that on video, I was like, oh my gosh, shoot the arrow, shoot it.
Not many people know that happened. And
Yeah.
I remember saying to you, just get the knockoff, grab the other arrow. Do it
Yeah,
quick.
just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
One of my teammates, thank God, and I thanked her when I got back. I said, I'm a little nervous if I do actually make it to the head-to-head, which I wasn't counting on it, but I was like, I should think about this. I said, there's really not enough time to let down. If my tab doesn't feel right, I'm just gonna have to like shoot it. She goes, well, let's try that. And so she made me try it like 4 or 5 times. And because of that, like I was going like 1 or 2 seconds over, and that 4 or 5 times we did it. But because of that, and we had just done that a few times, when that arrow happened to me, I was like, I've got time. I've got lots of time. I'm fine, And so I came back. I was like, thank you, Diane, for doing that with me, because that made like all the difference, on the line, because I was just so focused on the timers. I've just never used those timers before, so that was where all my focus was. So I didn't have time to be nervous. I was just like, don't mess up the clocks. Don't mess up the clocks. That's all my brain was on.
I think they did a good job with directing through that and everything that was going on. You did an outstanding job handling that situation. I mean, you had an extra 3 arrows, but you had them wrapped up in like a hair tie.
Mm-hmm.
And you were sort of struck because your hand was on the bow and you had your sling on, and you were kind of struggling a little bit to get through it, but you pulled that arrow out and then still got the shot off. And if I remember correctly, it landed in an 8 or a 9. It was a decent.
Yeah, I kind of kept grouping right there. If only I had like aimed at 7 o'clock for all my arrows, I wouldn't have, It is what it is. I know for next time not to be stuck on timers, to go, hey, shoot at 7,
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's okay.
Everybody that was watching that was like, Chrissy,
Just
aim
move.
down here. Aim down here.
It sent me like right before we went out there, like 15 minutes earlier. I know John had come to walk over because I was practicing in the muck. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're good. Because I was like grilling in the gold with just a couple outside the gold. I walk over to the other side of the bleachers. The wind picks up. Everything changed. I thought it was me.
Oh,
I
that
was doing
first
something
end.
wrong because I was just hitting the gold.
That first end, the wind was bad.
Yeah.
Literally, the moment they said, whatever, you're going to shoot first and range is clear, it was like somebody turned on a switch and that wind just started howling.
Yeah, it just changed everything. Yeah, it was what it was. I'm still happy. I got silver. Got to see Claire shoot some amazing arrows. That was really beautiful, girl. Like seriously beautiful.
Yeah, so
thank you.
Let's talk about the U.S. Open and that experience. Claire, this was your second time in the Open, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Chrissy, this was your first.
Mm-hmm.
What, going into that, what was the part of that really makes it tough? Is it the clock? Is it the cameras? Was it just the conditions maybe this time around because the wind was so bad when you guys first started? What is it for you that makes that tougher? Or maybe it doesn't make it tougher. Maybe it's easier. I don't know. Than shooting, down in Texas or shooting with Jeff over at Bodoc or shooting wherever. Like, what is it?
I would say the camera. Just everybody's watching. My kids are watching, and all my friends are watching. I'm so scared I'm gonna, mess it up.
Yeah, cameras. I mean, they were farther away, so at that point, I had a lot of cameras in my face for a couple of days. So by then, but up to that point, I was terrified of the cameras. I mean, I think you've seen me a couple of times where I videotaped myself, and I'm like, I'm not good in front of cameras. Yeah, I'm over that now. I'm over that fear. Everybody's seen like every imperfection of my form. They've seen me shoot bad arrows that I've never even shot in practice. Like, I just don't care anymore. But it would be cameras, and knowing that I don't mind people watching me, but with the cameras, it's always up there. People can go back and they're going to see it. I shot a 4. What can you do? So, but cameras and just, wanting to make people proud that you care about, that's a big deal.
I think that's good. You were complaining about the cameras earlier during the 2-day qualifier, but if you look back on it, maybe that was the best thing that could have happened to you.
Oh, yeah.
In reality.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, shout out to PJ Riley, because you have to admit
PJ is awesome.
You have to admit that sometimes the Barebow community gets we're a little too picky about what pictures they put where. So there's the camera covering Barebow, the number one seed sitting on after day one, and that's exactly what we asked for. So just to put that in retrospect, and in reality, that made your U.S. Open experience a better one because of it.
Yeah.
So, thanks to PJ, because
by the time I got to day 3, I was like, whatever, okay, we've been here, we've done this, but I just wasn't expecting it on day 1. So I was like, what's going on here? All of a sudden there's these cameras, and I didn't know what was going on. It was a little overwhelming, but I also knew it was, I had worked so hard. So when that happened, it was like, first of all, I wasn't ready for it mentally. But second of all, I was like, okay, all this work that I've done is finally paying off. Like, I'm here and it's going really, really well, like even better than I expected. So it was a moment that I've been working very hard towards. So it was emotionally overwhelming. And so then I'm in my head like, okay, the good high emotions are just as dangerous as the bad emotions. And I've been taught this by my coach. Thank you, Jeff. So in my head, I was like, you've got to come down off this high. You've got to get back where you need to be mentally, because I was kind of like just a crazy inside, but also like on this high, like this is really happening to me. So I had to get back down off that high and try to get off. They weren't the best arrows in that last gun, but I had to try to like not let all that emotion that was bottled up inside of me come out and get it back under control. So
Maggie,
that was a learning experience. Yeah. So
does that sound familiar?
It all sounds
you see
very
that
familiar.
Yeah.
Maggie, I have to say that Maggie was amazing in our one arrow shoot off. Like her energy on the line is so amazing. She's so mature within the sports. It's just so beautiful to see. I mean, obviously shooting eliminations, it's not very common. We don't practice it very, very often. It's not like a regular shooting that we practice every day. So when you go and like the judges are saying, you're going here, like everything is just like what, everybody's running. Where am I supposed to be in the rain? And Maggie is just so calm. And I was like so thankful that I got to shoot with her. I mean, just being with her on the line and just supporting each other was a beautiful thing. And I think every archer has their moments, where they get frustrated, they have their highs, they have their lows. It's a career. That's what happens. The most important thing is, can you come back? Yeah. You fall off the horse, can you get back up? Because it's so easy to give up. It's so easy to have that miss and think, oh, for me, I missed the bail in my eliminations with Maggie, and it was, am I going to cry about the miss? What am I going to do? As my coach always says, next arrow. There's nothing you can do about that arrow. What are you going to do next? And I came back with the 10. And for me, the comeback is always important. Not to say that you should always create opportunities where there should be a comeback. Consistency is key, obviously, in archery. But the beauty of it is watching, in my opinion, is watching an athlete stay in their game, no matter what adversity comes their way. That to me is like a highlight reel that I enjoy seeing athletes, and I see that their mental game is so tight. And I noticed that with Maggie, and I just wanted to point that out, because it's true. We all were given the same conditions. What are you going to do about it?
Maggie was amazing, let me tell you. And she went into that match dealing with me. I'm wondering who was 45 and who was 15, because she was comforting me. I'm crying. She's comforting me. Then she goes on to do this match. But let me explain something to you. She missed being in the open, the first and second open, by 1 point. We went 5 ends, and it was 20-7 to 26. That girl chased my butt all the way. Like, I was like, I've got to, beat Maggie. Maggie's on my butt. She did really, really good. I'm very, very proud of her.
You can't let your guard down around
Yeah,
her.
I was
can't.
very, very proud of her.
When we shoot here, you never know what's going to happen.
That last end was 27 to 26. She was amazing. I'm so proud of you, girl.
She's got a competitive spirit that drives, and in some ways, and I coach Maggie, so I know where, I know what she's capable of, but she She just has a competitive spirit that her focus and her ability to deal. However, she does get a little amped up every once in a while. We went through that in day one.
We all do.
But and then I think that's part of growing as an athlete, as an archery athlete. But I'm glad, Melody, that you keep bringing up about being athletes, because a lot of barebow shooters are still in that, like, I'm having fun and we're having a great time and we're hooting and hollering, but you're an athlete. Act like
This
one,
is true.
train like one, be an athlete, because that's what you are. And I think that's changing. There's definitely a little bit of a changeover in barebow for that effect. And again, John, not to throw you in the spotlight again, but a lot of that comes from him, because he's been putting out so much stuff, that how much work he has put in over, how many years you been doing this, dude? 11? It's your 11th year?
I don't know.
I think it's 11.
It's been a long time.
10, 11, 12. But you put the hours and the volume and the dozens and dozens and dozens of arrows, and people realize, like, well, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do to get better. And I think you ladies kind of exemplify, I know, Claire, your situation is a little bit different because you didn't have a lot of time to prepare, but you went into it with an athlete's mental game, because you are one. So you learned how to you learned from it, and you learned how to deal on day one and shot well on day one. And, so it still comes out that your previous experience as an archery athlete benefited you. And then you learn things from it as well, which, again, that's an athlete state of mind. So
I'm pretty sure at some point Claire put in the hours. She didn't get where she got. She put in the hard work to get there. Pretty sure.
I tried.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
To shoot the way you did with everything you got going on, it's pretty commendable, if you ask me. So, John, anything else you want to cover?
Not anything that comes to the top of my mind. I think we did. I think we covered about everything.
I think so too.
Anything you ladies would do different for next time?
I feel like I need a second bow, a second setup, because the truth of the matter is that anything can happen at any given time, and preparation, planning is very important as an athlete and as an archer for sure. String can break. You got to have backups. And that's definitely what I learned at this point in my career. Like, for sure, I need to have everything where I need it the days I'm shooting. And for me, like, shooting eliminations without being able to see, because I didn't have my glasses, I couldn't shoot with my glasses on, that maybe I should get into a regimen of preparing myself to shoot that way and figure things out in different scenarios. I need to plan, I need to prepare accordingly, because the truth of the matter is that anything can happen at any given time. And what am I going to do about it? I just need to prepare.
Good stuff. Anybody else?
I definitely need more practice, because I recently changed my arrows and I increased my poundage by 1 to 2 pounds. So it's hard for me to shoot 72 arrows. I think I would put more practice if I have a chance.
Claire, what difference do you notice when you go up in the poundage in kind of short notice before the tournament without practice? What are the things that affects you when that, what's the differences?
So I wasn't as consistent as before. A lot of arrows dropped low because I didn't have my strong shot. And my arrows are heavier than my old arrows. So when my form is not perfect, it dropped a lot.
Gotcha. I think that's good, because I think a lot of times people make changes, they buy new limbs, they do these things, and all of a sudden their scores they're not making as good as shots, but they're like, oh, I put these limbs on it. You increase poundage, things change, form changes, your release changes. Yeah. So it's important for people to understand that, and that you were affected by it because you just didn't have the volume under your belt, Chrissy, how about you?
aim at 7:00. Win. I mean, you could be on one side of the field, walk across the field, and it's a totally different game. And that I wasn't expecting. And so I blamed myself instead of just going, okay, this is what it is. Let's just deal with it. So I think I would adapt a little quicker, you know, in those situations. So that was like my big lesson.
I may or may not have said something along the lines of, you need to make a change.
I heard it. Yeah.
I was changing all the wrong things. I
You
should have
gotta
just
make a change. We gotta do something here. And,
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Lessons learned, right?
Yeah.
And they changed my limbs, and I went down to lower poundage. All Frank said was, just shoot where you're shooting and see where it hits, and then figure it out. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I did, because I went from 40 pounds to, I think I was 36.
But they were a better limb. And that's
But they were better limbs.
they were a
Yeah,
better
I
limb.
mean,
So you got more snap out of that limb. And if I remember correctly, your next end you were high.
yes, it was.
Like-
Yeah, definitely. The different limbs felt so much better, but I just stayed in my game as well, and I just allowed
You adjusted quick.
everything to flow, and then I just adjusted quick, fast, and in a hurry, the best that I could. And then I felt like at the end of round 4, I felt, okay, tomorrow these limbs, I'll use them, I'll be good. And then I couldn't see because I couldn't wear my glasses. And I was like, why is this happening to me? Like, is this a joke? Is somebody playing a joke? It's like Ashton Kutcher somewhere and they're pranking me.
Punking you.
Punking me. Yeah, totally. Literally, I feel like that was my experience.
Maggie has
of
no idea what that
nationals.
reference is whatsoever.
Yeah, totally.
I think that
who
reference is
shoots-
older than
who
Maggie.
yeah, totally. Who shoots not being able to see the bill? And I'm just like, just do it, you know? And nobody would believe it because I always tried to stay in my game. Like, nobody knew all the stuff that was happening in my world down at the end of the Barebow line, you know, because I just got to continuously do what I got to do. This is the nationals. I can't press pause and say, let me go and get a new bow and come back. The show must go on.
Especially in eliminations and or the open. There's no equipment failures there.
Yeah, you just got to do what
It
you got to
is
do.
what
You
it
just
is.
have to
So how about
adjust.
from our resident teenager?
Get out of your head, kid. That it shouldn't be about shooting against the rain, be shooting with the rain, kind of like fellow competitors. All you have to do is make a change on where you aim on the target or move your plunger or something to cope with it. It's not, it shouldn't be seen as this daunting task, even though shooting in the rain can be tough. You have to go into it positively.
However, we did not move your plunger for the rain. Just throw that out there. We're not advocating to do that. Aim off, people. If there's a change in weather, but you did a good job handling that. You did. You really did. You got a little amped up in the beginning. Remember the first couple of ends?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you were hitting
I was hitting high because I was overdrawing because I was too excited.
Yep. And it was one of those, like, I don't know what's going on situations. I mean, we've all had those at some point. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And you had that moment, and then you came back and I took your bow. I knew there was nothing wrong with your bow, but I looked at your bow, just gave away my secret. Like, it's fine. It's you. Take a breather, try to chill out and enjoy it. And like that, things kind of smoothed out, and everything calmed down then after that. But
I mean, in all fairness, you don't know what you're looking for anyway.
listen to this guy. I blame you. What I do know, I know from you. So you say what you want.
Right. I learned it from
There's
watching
certain
you,
things that he
Dad.
holds secret that he still won't tell me, I think. He's got like these little,
He's holding out on you?
Oh yeah, always.
So
He's not good enough yet.
isn't about the guys shooting barebow. This is about the ladies. Let's not go there.
So where's everybody shooting next? Is like the season over for most of everybody, or where's everybody shooting next? What's the next tournament?
I actually have states on September 6th. So I'm going to shoot that. And I am going to be going and doing the NFAA. So I think that would be a fun experience. In Yankton.
Awesome.
So I'd like to check that out just for kicks and giggles, see where it goes. I definitely have to learn 70 and 80 yards. I'm a little scared. It was already a lot of work to learn 50 meters. Now I have to learn 70 and 80 yards, but we'll just roll with it, and whatever happens, happens, because so far it's been a really great ride. So
4 arrows, Chrissy. That's all it is.
I know.
It's true.
That's it. Just 4.
But I like this journey. I just keep learning new things. And then, and I'm going to be seeing John in a few weeks on the 11th because I'm going to the boot camp. So I'm very excited about that. What?
So fun.
You're not
Go
going,
ahead, John.
I think things came up. I can't make it to the boot camp. So I'll see you in like a month.
So when are you going to teach me about tuning?
What's that?
You were supposed to teach me about tuning.
Tuning. Mm-hmm. Yankton. We'll have plenty of time in Yankton.
Oh, okay. I'm going to hit you up in Yankton then.
Yeah. How about Claire? What's your season going to look like here through indoor?
So we still have a outdoor tournament, a local one here in Houston because it's still hot here. My next indoor will be, I think I want to go to Lancaster, and I think that will be my next one because I'm not going to NFAA.
Okay.
I'm really hoping they have Lancaster. I love that there's a women's Barebow. Yeah. That was my first national. That was when I first met Claire. And Maggie was my first major tournament was at Lancaster. And meeting all them, I was like, meeting all of you. I was like, fangirling. I'm sure you guys remember, but yeah, big time fangirling. So it was fun. So I hope they have Lancaster again. We'll have to see.
I hope to see Fawn pretty soon because I've missed shooting with her for like the longest time. And if ever you want to be around the most positive female Barebow archer that is just an incredible shooter and an amazing human being, Fawn is that amazing girl. Like I love her so much. Mm-hmm. She's a great friend. She's a great archer. She's just an all-around amazing human being. So I hope I get to shoot with her soon because I miss her.
Agreed.
We love you, Fawn.
I think we all miss shooting with her. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. So she brings something else to the table, which we all love.
Sass.
I thought I brought sass. Okay. I am going to send her a message soon.
You both bring sass.
We're both Sagittarius. Yeah, there you go.
Maggie, what are you up to? What's the remaining tournaments you got going on?
On the 12th, I'm going to Lancaster for one of their. I think they did a series, but not really a series. It's the last one called this. What is it? SmackDown.
I think so. Summer
then
SmackDown.
At the end on the 26th and 27th. You're having to shoot, and I'm going to the GHA one because I want to. I don't know. We'll see where it takes me. And then indoor. Now
Indoor, yeah.
Lots and lots of work for indoor.
Yeah, we'll be getting after indoor right away. We're not taking any time off. We're gonna start FIDAs right away. As soon as the September shoot is over, we're gonna get everybody prepped for indoor. Hopefully indoor nationals happens. Hopefully Lancaster happens, and we give people a place to go and prepare for it. But yeah, see what happens there. We will see. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with all of you once again, except this time all together, because cornering the 4 of you at nationals would have been next to impossible. But you guys, you girls, do an amazing job of,
Women's Barebow.
in some ways, following Fawn's footsteps. Because I think Fawn deserves the same recognition that we gave for John, because she's definitely set the bar high for women's barebow.
She really has.
She's the standard.
But she
That we
also
all-
goes out of her
Yes.
way to help people, you know, who
Yeah.
are new to Barebow or up and coming. Like
Yeah.
she goes out of her way to be there for other female archers. So she's amazing. I can't say enough great things about Fawn.
And as a coach, she has done the same with her shooters. Her shooters, we had the pleasure of meeting some and talking to some out at S3DA Nationals, and her families and stuff she just does an amazing job across the board. And I think she deserves that recognition for sure. So, and again, she's another not creation. That's a bad word. She's another learner from John, you know. I know John helped her quite a bit in the past, but you know, with you guys were team members, I guess, for the United States Archery team for Field Nationals, Field Worlds.
Yeah. It's just a typical, teammate helping another team out, whenever we can.
Yeah. So, thank you for joining us, and thank you for providing such probably this is definitely like, Mick, if you're there, we have to do a kumbaya intro or something, because it was for a moment, I think I blanked out for a moment. I don't even know. It's pretty awesome. No, it's pretty awesome.
Sisterhood. This is how women's Barebow rolls. We're all sisters.
I think it's great.
The men's will be totally different.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure the
See, that's why we're coming for you, buddy.
completely different. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait to watch that.
it should be entertaining to say the least. But once again, ladies, nice job. Awesome podcast. You have definitely set the bar high for just representing women's Barebow. And I think you are following Fawn's footsteps, and I think in some ways setting your own standards. And I want to say thank you on behalf of Barebow for that. So, job well done.
Nice seeing
Thank you
guys
so
out.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you,
And it-
girls.
Anybody
Bye.
watching, check out the gold medal match on YouTube. Get those views up. Show some support for the ladies.
Yeah. Go to Competition Archery Media and go to their YouTube page and watch the ladies US Open and finals there.
Just watch Claire killing it, man. Killing it.
That last end, Claire, you
Oh
have
my
to
God.
admit, that last end was like,
You were killing it, girl. I was like, wow, okay then.
yeah,
It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
it was
Yeah.
awesome.
I didn't realize it until Rick said, you know what? That's a 29.5.
Oh yeah.
It was
You were
close.
killing it. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
Rick definitely helped.
Shout out for everyone listening. That's Rick Stonebreaker. He was.
Yeah. Thank
your
you,
coach.
Rick Stonebreaker,
Yeah,
for
Rick's a good guy.
calming me down.
Slick Rick.
It's true.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys want to hang out and chat a little bit, but we're pretty much curtains. Podcast is over. You guys were awesome.